Good evening. This is Paul Mayhue with the Michigan Voices Not Heard project in Michigan. And I just want to give you, the audience, a little update of what we have been doing politically in this community in the city of Grand Rapids, greater Grand Rapids. We started out this week in a very powerful way. On the 22nd of this month, we, as a group of the Kent County Black Caucus and the Michigan Voices Not Heard project. And we sat down with Mark Schauer, the gubernatorial candidate, and Gary Peters, who's running for Senate. Had a great conversation. This was orchestrated by the community action team from that's located within the Teamsters. Our meeting was at the Teamsters Hall on Eastern Street in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and hosted by Terry Hoogerheide. We had a great meeting, and one of the things that I was able to get out of this meeting was the fact that there were rumors floating around that Senate candidate Gary Peters did not support the Affordable Care Act. And I was very concerned about that and wondering how were we as Democrats going to wrap our arms around a person that did not support the Affordable Care Act. And so I had a chance to ask him the question straight up, and his response was tremendous. He did indeed say that he supported the Affordable Care Act, but then the 1 year extension is where he had voted to grant a 1 year extension. Now, the president has talked about giving some folks a 1 year extension before this situation takes place in the Affordable Care Act, but that's what Gary had said. But he qualified his statements in that he definitely supports poor people and middle class people having the break that the Affordable Care Act is going to grant them with what it's about to do in terms of reducing the cost of insurance, making sure that the young folks stay on the insurance policies of parents to the age 26, closing up the donut hole for seniors so that the cost of their prescription drugs will reduce. So it's a lot that is being put on the line in terms of this Affordable Care Act. The gubernatorial candidate, Mark Schauer, came in and talked about his signature policy statement as of right now, which is the minimum wage. He definitely talked about reducing the minimum wage cost. I mean, I'm sorry, uh, increasing the minimum wage, because we haven't had an increase in the minimum wage for quite a few years. We also talked about quite a few issues. We talked about the exporting of jobs out of the country with the Senate candidate Gary Peters. He talked about putting together legislation to help deal with the jobs being exported and tax abatement being granted to those that are exporting jobs out of the country. And also, we let him know that Senator Stabenow had a similar legislation. I guess it got kind of bottled up in Congress. So that's about the nip and the tuck of that. Um, we also, in our conversation, there was a mention, especially by me, that Tom Barrow, who I've been watching for quite a while, from what I've been reading, and I met Tom Barrow at the Elks, no, at the Masonic Hall in Detroit at one point in time. Tom Barrow, I feel, is a tremendous candidate that his skills could be utilized as lieutenant governor or secretary of state. I think we need to pay plenty attention to this. He seems to be the right type of tactician. He knows his work. He knows his craft, and he could be a great asset to us in the state because he knows how to eke out issues and work on the issues and follow through. So I'm recommending that Tom Barrow, be placed somewhere on this slate for the state, and that we get behind Tom Barrow. Uh, it's just, I've watched him for quite a few years. I watched him through one election cycle when he ran in the race with the current mayor that's about to go out, and the mayor that's coming in, Mike Duggan. And his honesty, his straightforwardness, his uprightness just shows through. And I think that he would make a great statesman for the whole state, showing that he's an honest, upright type of an individual that's able to handle most situations with support. So that's my 2 cents in there for Tom Barrow. You know, Also, in this particular situation, I connected Maurice Badgett with the Prophetic Voices group. That's with Bill O'Brien, who works for the Tubman Center in Detroit, the Harriet Tubman Center in Detroit. And Bill O'Brien um, and Prophetic Voices, have been doing a lot of statewide organizing on a bipartisan basis. And some of the issues that they talk about, especially when we talk about, closing the school to prison pipeline. We talk about restoring the tax credit that was taken from the poor and the working poor and the middle class. When we talk about putting a cap back on the charter schools, these are some of the issues that Bill O'Brien and his bipartisan group of people have talked about, bipartisan group of pastors. Now, when we talk about pastors, we have the potential to have quite a lot of people to vote with us, because pastors have a lot of influence in their congregations. So I did talk to Maurice Badgett, who runs our Detroit branch of the Voices Not Heard group. And they did have a small conversation. I made a phone call to Bill O'Brien, talked to him this weekend, and he did indicate to me that he would re-engage with Maurice and they could take it further from there. And obviously they'll keep me posted as to how the relationship goes. Um, so we have a lot of things that's going on. We are in our community. And one of the major things that's on a national level is the potential agreement that have came about because of President Obama with Iran. Now, we haven't had a relationship with Iran since the fall of the Shah. And that was way back in the 70s, maybe 78, 79. But this could mean a whole lot to us in the community to have a relationship with Iran. I know that Israel continues to say that, we don't trust them. But, so we have to go on what we as Americans feel. And if our leadership in our country feel that this is the process or the time to create a deal or the art of the deal, then we must go for it right now. And so I think that the president and our Secretary of State uh, are taking us in the right direction. We will follow their lead and observe and watch as this thing play out. Because I think that what we are on is we're on a mission to try to create world peace. And the world peace is the ultimate, in trying to live in this world. We're all put together as national states, but world peace is the best thing that could happen to this whole world. The planet, it would save the planet and save a lot of lives and save a lot of grief, and then we could redirect resources, to educating our children as opposed to sending our children off to war. I think America right now is we just been warred out. It's too many wars. And our children are basically the people that usually end up on the front lines of war. And we, as Americans, have to be able to do something about that. And I think the president and Secretary of State is heading in the right direction to deal with this. So I'm just standing pat right now and thanking you for listening to me, and look forward to working with Maurice and Bill O'Brien and the Michigan Prophetic Voices group out of the Harriet Tubman Center in Detroit. We look forward to turning out large amounts of votes going forward. We will turn the votes out going forward. We've got to be able to have enough political strength to turn the votes out and turn the tide in Michigan. Because right now, we are heading in a direction that leaves all of us middle class, poor, and lower middle class people in the dust. So we will turn this vote out. We must turn this vote out. It's the future of our families and our children that is on the line. So we will turn this vote out. So I'm just, glad to be able to talk with you today. I pray blessings upon people that listen to this particular tape today. And thank you again for your cooperation and for what you're paying attention to. And I plan to have another message next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.